Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back. So for today's video, we're going to be doing another top 10 video, and we are going to be taking a look at my top 10 personal least favorite G3 Monster High dolls. What a mouthful that was. That was a lot to say. But I think it was last week that I did the video of my top 10 favorite G3 Monster High dolls. And so of course now we have to do the inverse and kind of take a look at the dolls that I don't think are as spectacular. Now I will say, y'all already know I'm a huge G3 fan. Like, I will defend this generation until I die. I think it's really, really solid. And so maybe I am a little bit biased there, but honestly, I feel like it was kind of hard to make this list. With a lot of my other top 10 like worst lists, there are dolls that I actively dislike that I'm like, this is not cute. Like, obviously our opinions might differ, but like, to me, this is an ugly doll. I don't like it. With the G3, I'm going to preface this by saying that a lot of these aren't dolls that I'm like, this is actively hideous. It's more just like, I don't really care for it. Like, it's kind of whatever to me. So this is going to be a little bit more lighthearted than some of my other top 10 worst videos, but hopefully still entertaining to you guys. Of course, if you find yourself enjoying, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. I have got my PO box and wish list and other things in the description if you want to go out of your way to support me. But yeah, that's what we are going to be doing today. Of course, as with everything that I do on the channel, everything I say today is just going to be my opinion. You are absolutely free to disagree with me and let me know what you think in the comments down below. Just please do be civil if we don't agree. But yeah, let's go ahead and just jump right on into the list. So coming in 10th place is actually a doll that hasn't released yet, and that is the Monster Fest Frankie doll. Now, I feel like this one might be like my least popular opinion on the list, or like one of my least popular opinions on the list, and that's okay because I get it, okay? They barely made it onto the list because I was genuinely having trouble going through all of the G3 dolls that have been released or like that we have stock photos for, and I was genuinely having trouble finding enough that I didn't like for this list. So yes, Monster Fest Frankie is number 10, but like the key thing there is that they're number 10. I don't think that this is a terrible doll. I think in general, my opinion is that there's some elements that I would take off. I think that maybe there's just a few things that don't quite vibe with me. In particular, their like headdress I don't really like, and the bag is kind of whatever. I do like the pants and like the base outfit. I just think there's maybe too many accessories or like not the right kind of accessories for me going on. So again, I don't hate this doll, but I had to come up with 10 that I was going to feature today, and so Monster Fest Frankie just barely eked it onto the list. Number 9 is another one that I think is probably going to be decently unpopular, but like, what can I say? I kind of feel like I frequently have unpopular opinions, but it's going to be the signature Ghoulia from G3. I have said this a lot before, so if you've seen my videos before, you probably already know I'm not really a Ghoulia fan in any capacity, in any generation. I don't do well with zombies, and like it's nothing against Ghoulia like as a character. I just don't like zombies, and I can't get past that mental block enough to like Ghoulia. So even though there are a lot of things that I think are cool about her signature doll, in particular, I think the jacket that she has is a really nice piece. I'm just not a Ghoulia fan, and I also think that the skirt especially looks a little bit cheap. Like, it's not one of my favorite G3 clothing pieces, so this is another one that's kind of late because I really do recognize that a lot of people like this doll, and I get why people like this doll, but for me personally, no. Number 8 is going to be the Ultimate Secrets Neon Frights Draculaura, and this is a doll that, like, it hurts me to have to put her on the list because I was honestly kind of excited for this doll when we were first, like, hearing about Neon Frights, but looking at her, I just don't really like her that much. There's nothing to me that stands out in a positive way. And I was really hyped to know that like the yellow was going to be part of her color scheme because with Gen 1, I really, really loved when Draculaura got little yellow accents in her outfits. I just thought it was such a pretty color scheme. But for Neon Frights, the yellow that they chose is definitely like a little bit more of like a neon yellow, which I understand it's in the name Neon Fright. Like, I get it. I understand. I just think she looks better with more of like not quite a pastel yellow, but just a softer yellow. It's a particular shade. Am I being unbelievably nitpicky? Yes. But again, it wasn't as easy as me going, hey, here's 10 dolls that I think are ugly. Like, I had to kind of be nitpicky to even make this list. So like, she's not the worst doll I've ever seen. I don't hate her. I just don't particularly like her. And so that's all it took to get on this list at this point. Number 7 is going to be another Draculaura doll and also another upcoming doll, and that is the Monster Fest Draculaura. Now, I think this doll had potential. I think there are some interesting elements to her design. Like, I think her makeup's cool. She's got little cowboy boots, which I think could have been so fun to see. However, she does come with a playset. Like, she comes with a little like truck van situation. And so because of that, just less budget was put into the doll itself. And especially when you compare it to the other dolls in the Monster Fest line, she has a lot less painted detail, fewer like actual clothing pieces. And I just don't think that she lives up to like what she could have been. I really would have loved to have seen what this doll would look like as a standalone doll instead of being included with the playset so that she could really like take up all of the budget and get all of the attention. Obviously that's not going to happen. Like I'm not going to see it and that's fine. But yeah, for that reason, I think that she looks really underwhelming. She's kind of simple, kind of doesn't quite fit together because I think she just needed a little bit more for her design to look cohesive, hence why she is on the list. Coming in at number 6 is going to be the Snack Shack Laguna. So this was like one that kind of tied along with the Scaradise dolls, and she was another one that comes with a playset. I mean, the Snack Shack. I just don't love this one. I honestly think that the worst part about it to me is the inclusion of black with her color scheme. Now, like, I like black as a color, clearly, but I just feel like there are some dolls that it looks really good on and some that it doesn't look really good on. Like, obviously, Draculaura has black in her color scheme a lot, and I think it looks fantastic. I think that Frankie can have black in their color scheme, and it can look really good. Like, even other dolls that don't always get a ton of black, like Claudine is usually mostly a purple-themed doll, or, like, she'll get accents of, like, green and that sort of thing. I think she can have accents of black and have it be okay, but for some reason, I just don't really like the way that black looks on G3 Laguna. Or maybe I just haven't liked the way that it's been executed. Okay, that's also possible. It just feels very jarring. Like I just don't really vibe with the color scheme that she's got going on with this one. And the overall design isn't my favorite either. So like, again, she isn't like the worst doll ever. I feel like I'm saying that a lot this video, but she's not, genuinely. I just don't love her. Breaking into the top 5, unfortunately in this case, is my girl Cleo, which I hate to say, but I have to. In this case, it is her Sculptimate Secrets doll, like the original one. I just wasn't really a big fan. Obviously, we're getting further up the list, so I'm going to start to have more feelings about these. And this is one that I kind of more actively dislike. Again, if you like this doll, that's totally chill. Like, I'm always happy when things make other people happy. But for me, this just wasn't it. I think most of her pieces felt kind of lackluster to me. There was maybe 1 or 2 things that she came with that I really was like, oh, that's a fun piece of clothing or like a fun accessory or whatever. But what killed it the most was the inclusion of this strange hot pink color in like her overall color scheme for this set. I just don't think that it matches with Cleo, much like I talked about the black with Laguna. I just don't really feel like it fits with her, or at least as far as what we've seen. And I didn't think that the pink matched this Cleo at all. I think that it could have been so much better if she had a different color, but she's got like pink on some of her shoes and some of her like earrings and stuff. And it's very jarring and disjointed. And so when you add that together with the fact that I wasn't super enthused by her other pieces, it's like, there's just not really a whole lot about this doll that I like except for the base doll, if I'm being honest. So she kind of had to be on the list. Number 4 is going to be the Sculptimate Secrets Iridescent Laguna doll. I just could not get into this one. I really wanted to. And honestly, this is a complaint that I had with both of the Sculptimate Secrets from like the first 2 waves of Laguna, but I just disliked Iridescent more so. I feel like there are some pieces that I love. Like she has some pieces that I'm like, this is beautiful. I even really loved the makeup on the Iridescent doll, but laying out all of the clothing pieces that she came with, there was no single outfit that I could make that I felt like looked good. Like looking at all the pieces, I was like, I don't even know how I would dress this doll to like her. Because while I really enjoyed some pieces, most of them I was either like, I don't love this or I really, really don't like this. And so I couldn't justify buying a doll that I would be spending $30 on to not be able to make a complete outfit that I like out of. And I feel really badly because again, there was a lot about her that I did think looked really cool, but it just wasn't enough. And unfortunately, it was paired with a lot of things that I actively disliked. And so now it's like when I look at the doll and I see her in stock photos, I just am not happy when I see her, and so that's kind of a telltale sign that she had to be on the top 10 worst list. We are in the top 3 now, and unfortunately we have to revisit Miss Cleo, and we're going to be talking about her Ghoul Spirit doll. Overall, I didn't love the Ghoul Spirit line. Like, it was like a big box pack that I want to say was exclusive to Walmart, at least in the US. I'm not 100% sure on that. But it's not my taste to begin with. Like, I don't really love sporty dolls. So she's already at a disadvantage. I do actually have this doll because I bought the entire set on clearance because it was like $30 or something like that when I got it. And I think it was it 5 or 6? I can't remember how many dolls it was. But I was like, okay, I'm going to use these dolls and I'll redress them. And I've redressed her in some of my extra Sculptimate Secrets Cleo clothing from the second wave of Sculptimate Secrets. And she looks amazing now. So the base doll super cute. Like her makeup's nice. And I actually also really love the shoes that she came with. She's got some earrings that are totally fine. However, the entire outfit that she does come with, I'm not a fan of. She's got this super weird headband. I don't know if it's like trying to be spirited or like what the thing is there. I don't know what the vibe was meant to be, but I don't like it. She has a sort of jersey dress on, which really bothers me because I actually do like the fabric that they used for it. It's like kind of plasticky. It definitely doesn't look expensive, but it's like a little iridescent and it's kind of fun. And I feel like it could be used in a fun way with Cleo, but it has the jersey thing printed on it. And so not really a fan of that. And then she's got kind of a sporty looking jacket. And it's just, mostly it's my sports bias, okay? Mostly it's the fact that this is like a sporty doll and I just don't love that. Like I like Cleo's actual aesthetic in like the clothing that she normally comes in. I don't like her in the sporty aesthetic. So even though I love the character and I do think the base doll is really pretty, I don't feel joy when I look at the stock photo of this doll. I only really feel joy when I think of what I've done for her. So like she kind of had to be up here. In second place today, we have the Creepover Frankie doll. Much like sports themed dolls, I've said this so many times on my channel, I don't really usually vibe with like sleepover dolls. It's just not my thing. I like dolls in either like fun everyday wear or in like glamorous wear. Like I love gowns and like fancy party dresses and stuff like that. Or like I said, fun everyday wear, like casual clothing. So sleepover stuff is just not for me in general. So again, I'm very biased in this regard. And out of the Creepover line, because like I didn't want to have this list dominated by the Creepover line, same thing with the Ghoul Spirit dolls. I think that the Frankie doll just was my least favorite. It's nothing against them because like I actually do like G3 Frankie unlike Gen 1 Frankie. But I just think that their outfit is the least exciting to me and like the one that I just don't like the most, if I'm being 100% honest. I think is it like a robe that they have? I can't even think of it. I think Frankie is the one that has the full robe, and then Claudine has more of like a shorter little jacket situation. I'm not obsessed with the material of the robe. It looks like it would be a sensory nightmare for me personally. You might be fine with that type of fabric, but like I can imagine what it feels like, and I don't like it. And the rest of their outfit is just not really exceptional. Other dolls like the Dracula from that line I didn't get because like I still didn't want it enough to buy it, but I at least liked her pants, so that's why she didn't make it onto the list. Whereas with the Frankie, there's really nothing of theirs that I like in this design, so unfortunately they're at number 2. Which of course brings us to number 1 and also brings us back to the Ghoul Spirit line because I had to highlight Claudine. I'm sorry, I just think this is so rough. There are other dolls in the Ghoul Spirit line, like the Frankie. I actually think most of that Frankie's clothing is really cool. I don't like the oversized sweater because, again, it's like a very sporty feel to it, but I love the skirt that they came with and their boots, and the side shave that they have on that doll is really cool. So, like, didn't include that one. Unfortunately, the Claudine, it's just rough. It's like a literal sports uniform. Like, I think she's playing basketball. And so, of course, I'm going to like it less because I'm just not a sporty person. I'm not someone who really likes sports themes in dolls. But also, it's not even that high quality. And I feel like you can kind of see that from the stock photos, but especially having the dolls in your hand. Honestly, none of the Ghoul Spirit dolls were like super high quality when it comes to the clothing. So that's going against her as well, where it's like, okay, this is an outfit that I don't love. And also it doesn't feel great when you touch it. And I don't like the accessories, like her little like goggle situation she's got going on. And this was a Claudine that had like the polypropylene hair. It was kind of just a perfect storm of me not loving honestly anything about her other than the fact that I could have her in the pack and then I could redress her later. And that's like the only reason that I have this doll at all. But if she had come by herself, I would not have purchased her. I literally only got this, again, because I got the whole set on clearance and it was a great deal to have all of these base dolls. But even on clearance, I don't think I would have bought just Claudine. So that probably says something about how little I like this doll. But yes, guys, that is going to be my entire list for today. Those are my top 10 least favorite G3 Monster High dolls. As I said before, I definitely want to know both what you think of the dolls that I featured on this list and then also what your top 10 least favorite would be. I'm always very curious when I do these videos to see how your thoughts differ from mine because like, I'm always curious about that, but especially when it's a nice concrete list, like a top 10, I feel like it's very easy to put your thoughts into words. And so it's really interesting for me to read the comments and see what you guys think of these different dolls. I'm also curious if it's like as hard for anyone else to make a top 10 least favorite for G3. I feel like some doll lines, it's really, really easy for me to be like, wow, here are so many I don't like. Like there are some times where I'll be prepping for this video and I'll have $20 that I'm suddenly trying to cut down to 10. It's like, okay, I have to get rid of half of these. Like I can't feature half of these in the video. So which ones do I really hate the most? And other times like this, I was like struggling after picking 5. I was like, okay, who else am I supposed to feature here? So I'm kind of curious if you guys had that feeling too, or if you've had that feeling for any of my other like top 10 worst or even like the better videos. I'm just nosy. So yeah, definitely let me know your thoughts, but I do hope you were able to enjoy hearing all of my thoughts today. I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day or your night or whatever it might be, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Bye guys.